Hey, welcome to Jack's Tech Corner and Photography Weekly. This is episode number 73 for Sunday, December 23rd, 2012. Couple days for Christmas. Is all your shopping done? So what's coming up today anyway? Well, it's a live shoot day. I know everybody seemed to enjoy the last time we did a live shoot there. And today we're going to be looking, as I already said there, between the differences between the Westcott Apollo 28-inch Softbox, the square box, and we're going to be looking at the Westcott 43-inch orb. That's the new one I just picked up this past week. Just was delivered. I did a little YouTube video on the unboxing of it, so now I thought we'd do a live shoot with it to see what is going to happen. We do have our model back once again today. Mary is giving us a little bit of time out of her busy schedule. She's been holiday planning and doing the baking around the house, and the house smells great with cookies and man, getting everything ready to go there for the holiday or for Christmas morning. So with that said, folks, let's go ahead and get started this week with episode number 73. So let's give my official shout outs here this morning to Peter, Dina, Jake the Snake, Jessica, Jody, Kevin, and Vicky. And Flyer here. Good morning. And thanks, Jake. You're right. It sucks to be the teacher sometimes. I tell you what. And the iPad did come back up finally. So now we can actually talk to you and get this all running. So I can see the chat room. That's important. Okay, so with that, as I said here, we're going to be having a live demonstration today, and we're going to be talking about the Westcott Apollo softbox. The first way we're going to shoot this softbox is, you can see this, we're going to shoot it open just like this with the silver inside. Now they say it works as a beauty dish. Of course, you know, Mary's, you guys saw, you said Mary's already beautiful, so we don't have to lighten her up anymore. But anyway, that's what everybody out there said. So we are using the Yongnuo flash in here. We're going to be set at half power is what we're going to be using today on our softbox. And I do have a wireless trigger in there just to trigger the flash. You can use any wireless trigger you want. I recommend the Yongnuo 603Bs, I think it is, or 603C to trigger your flashes. They're pretty inexpensive, and you can find those on Amazon, I'm sure. So first, we're going to shoot this box with an open, with the open diffuser panel here, just with the silver insert, to see what kind of light we get. And then we'll put this in. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the way this is recessed once we do that. Because then next we're going to be shooting the Apollo orb after this box. So let me turn this back around. Turn our flash on here. Turn our trigger on, and we are going to test the flash and make sure it's going to flash okay. And there's the camera. Okay, so far so good. Everything looks fine. What we're going to do now is have Mary come and she's going to take a seat. Seems like everybody in our house is sniffling. But this time you're going to sit more towards the light. So we're going to, there you go. Yeah, but you're going to turn your face this way towards the camera. The body this way, face this way. There you go. That's better. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, as always, is we're going to get a meter reading, just so we can see where this flash is. I know I'm going to shoot at a ISO of 100, shutter speed of 200, and we're going to see where the f-stop should be for our flash. So we'll just have you hold this again, right next to your cheek, right there. Okay, and we're looking at a 9.0. A 9.0. Alright. So let's go ahead and we're going to see what kind of I'm going to shut this extra little light off here. We're going to see what we get at 9.0, and this is with the open Westcott Apollo softbox. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we're going to see what we're going to get here this morning. Wow, and you can see it's really, really bright. Now it's real heavy, real bright. And that's because we didn't take the time to set our camera. You guys probably seen that if you can see the top of that there with my the tethering there. Let's take another one here with the camera set properly and see if we get any better lighting. Alright. Okay, we do have better lighting that time. I would have to say it's not blown out, as you can see. Now with the 28-inch softbox, you can see where the light's falling off right around the top of her hair. Right around, see if I can get this mouse here. Right around this side of the hair, the light is falling off right there. So the light's wrapping around and it's starting to fall off on that right side. Alright. And you're right, Jessica said that it was washed out, was too much light. That's exactly right, because the main thing there is, like I said, we didn't have the camera set up properly, unfortunately. So now what we're going to do is, with this box, with the same half power here, we're going to go ahead and bring my other camera back up here so you can see what's going on. What we're going to do here is we're going to put the baffle in. Okay, the diffuser panel. Now this diffuser panel, if you can see, it's recessed right here in the back. The reason it's recessed is we can actually use this as a blind, so the light won't go behind our subject. The light will only go where we're pointing. It's more, makes it more directional with this reset like that. Let's go ahead and Fabian can tell you that, because I know he uses this softbox all the time in his shooting. And these, being these are used with a speed light, it makes them very portable. My mother's seen us using one of these one time out in the field. She had a picture of it, and she even said, well, how's that possible? Where'd you get the power from? I told her we plugged it into a tree. She seemed to believe it, so I hope she's not watching this morning, because she'll crown me for that one. So there we go. Okay, now the baffle's on it. You'll be able to see that the light is actually softer. The light's actually softer, and it's actually diffused. It's actually pushed out, so just having that big silver coming at you. So we're going to turn this back around now. We're going to take a shot here, and then we're going to move that light around just a little bit more. Alright, so let's take another reading with that on, just to see if the light changed any. Hold that right there. And it did change. It went down to an f-stop of 6.3. So let's just say you as a photographer, you don't have a light meter, okay? No light meter, you go, alright, well, I'm just going to take that shot. My camera's set to 9. It worked before. Let's see what happens. Remember 6.3. Alright, we're going to go back. Alright. So remember 6.3. Try to go back here. Alright. Look this way again. Okay, now that's at 9, because we have it at 9, right? So it must be fine. And you can see that's actually pretty dark right there. Let me look at the ISO setting and make sure we're still at 100. The shutter is still at 200. But you can see it looks a little bit dark. So that is what's going to happen. Instead of being overexposed now we're underexposed because we don't have enough light. So that's where the light meter comes in really, really handy. So the light meter is telling us to change our f-stop to 6.3. Let's do that. It takes the guesswork out of it, people. That's what we're talking about. That's why we talked about light meter before. Let's take this shot. We're going to actually move our focal point up, and we'll see what that looks like. And now you can see how it's perfectly lit. That's a really, really nice lit. It's not real harsh lighting like the actual inside that panel was, right? With the diffuser on, it's more softer. That's what you're looking for, a soft light. Again, I want you to look where it's falling off. Again, on that one side it's falling off, but her face is well lit, so that's good. Now, I did mention, I'm sorry about that, I talked a little bit about when I was going over, I was going to move my focal point. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure on Canon it would work the same way, that the little button on the back allows you to move your little dot around. If you're in single focus mode, you can move the dot. So what I did was I wanted to focus on the eye, so I just moved the dot up so that way I can have the whole body in focus. I did have that in my notes also to talk about that today was, I had a question last week about why is the lens not sharp? And I think the reason is if you shoot with not a lot of available light, what happens is you start shooting and you're shooting at an f-stop of say 2.8 or 1.8 with those 50mm lenses. What you're getting is the fall off from the depth of field. Now, what depth of field is and what that means, basically, I'm trying to see where I'm at here in this shot so you guys can see me. Maybe I'll stand back here. But what depth of field does is if you focus on somebody's nose, it's going to soften everything else out because it's a very, very small focal point. That's why, because you're blurring everything else out behind them. It just makes sense. So I don't like to shoot portraits on anything below f4. I know a lot of people do because they want to soften the face, but really, why would you want to do that? You can do that in post-production if you wish. So let's go ahead here. We're going to take another shot, and I'm going to show you how to feather this light back and how that works. Take another shot here. We'll see now that's a f6.3. And there we go. Now if you see the light on the back coming on that backdrop, we're going to try to get rid of that or cut that down. Let me show you how that's done. Oops. I want to shut the camera off there. Let me make sure this is still tethered together. Yes, it is. Alright. So what we're going to do here now with this light is we're going to take the light, we're going to turn it a little bit, we're going to bring it more back towards Mary, and we're going to turn it more. Alright, what we're going to do now is get that light feathering across. So the back of it here, being that is cut back in like that, it's going to protect that light from that backdrop, but it's still going to bring light across her face, is what we're hoping to happen. So we're going to try to do that, but keep the light off the backdrop. Now, here's something to remember with these light meters or with light in general. And I'm sure Fabian can tell you because he does so much, and I'm pretty sure Kevin has done a lot with lighting. If you leave the light stationary, so if a light is fixed, wherever it might be, you take a reading, you, the photographer, the camera person, can be any angle you want, any place. The light's not going to change. The reading won't change. The exposure is fine. Once you move the light, take another reading to see what the difference would be. Because the light is closer to her now, so I would expect that we might have to actually stop it down a little bit. So let's see what happens. Hold that right about there. Take a reading. And actually, we stayed at 6.3, so that's fine. So we're going to shoot this at 6.3 and see what we get. All right. Now we're hoping that that light actually comes off the back a little bit, as it did. Okay, let me bring this back up for you. You can see now where the light actually is more off the backdrop and more on her face here. Now, what would happen then is you're probably going to need a fill card or something on that right hand side. So we're going to just have Mary hold this right about there. Let's move it back a little bit. Right there. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're just going to shoot this just with a fill card. We're going to have her look the same way. And again, folks, remember, this is just board I picked up at a local hobby store for $1.50. It works really, really nice. You don't have to spend a lot of money on reflectors. Now you can see how that changed that whole entire shot. We kept the light off the backdrop, and we was able to light Mary up very, very well. All right. So, see if anybody has any questions in here, or if you have a suggestion even of a pose that you may want. We can have Mary do any poses you want, maybe, except standing on her head. Have the chat room pose Mary today. Yeah, let's see a little bit. Okay, everybody's video is good except Kevin's. Unfortunately, Kevin, I hope you get that squared away there. It may have changed before you turned off the overhead light. I don't know what that was. Mary is such a good sport. I hope she is getting really nice Christmas presents. Yes, she is. Let's see. I really don't use a light meter. I can see it in my head before I take the shot. And that's true, Fabian. And I think because you've shot so much, I think that you've done it so much that you can see the light. You know the situations that you're in. Kevin does have the Apollo Softbox. He has this 28-inch, and now he's has the orb on his Christmas list. Good morning, Mike JP. And that's fine now. Good, Kevin. Let's do a Jack Daniels pose. I don't know what that is, Fabian, but that's a little scary, so can't tell you what that one is. Okay, so that is my 28-inch Apollo Softbox. Now we are going to go into the 43-inch Apollo orb. And one thing I found about this thing, shooting in this space, and you can all, everybody can see this space and how small it is. It's not the biggest space in the world. The 43-inch Apollo orb is pretty doggone big. It's 43 inches, so it's pretty big. And you're going to see this, but it's the same basic idea. It's still the umbrella, but what I like about this, they reinvented it. I guess a lot of people are having trouble with breakage. So they actually reinvented the 43-inch, and they reinvented it with fiberglass rods, if you can see those in there. They put fiberglass all the way through it now because the aluminum was actually bending and people were having a lot of trouble and they were complaining. So they re-engineered the box here. We're going to change these boxes out so you get to watch how easy this is. We will tear this one down. We'll show you the difference here because Jake was asking what the difference could have been this past week. He wanted to see the difference. The first thing I seen was just the sheer being able to cover more of the person with more light. But it's also a bigger source. So if you get a bigger source, it's got to be softer. It's going to have more wrap. So that's what we're going to look at. But I still think this 28 is going to come in handy. I mean, we're still going to use it. See why we would not use it. Pull this out. And if you ever try to put together a softbox, these things are great. And if you ever try to put together a regular softbox, Mary will tell you that I've come up with some really new words when we tried to build a couple softboxes when we first got them. And that's it. Now there's one nice thing about this. I guess it's good and it's bad. That the baffle material or the the white piece of material in here sewed into this one, so you can't lose it. So that is handy. We're going to stick this back here somewhere without pushing everything over. That's what I'm going to do. Just lay that there. All right. Now where the Apollo orb, the diffuser panel is not sewed into it, and I think it's because they want you to be able to shoot it easier without it. So this is the orb. It goes right on over your flash, just like normal. I have also used it with the studio flash, and it works equally well. I have to try to find this umbrella hole here in the back. Alright. Another thing I like about what they did with this is it's a solid shaft on the orb itself. Where the other one I didn't show you, but it has a hollow shaft on it. So this has a solid shaft, which makes it a lot better when you're tightening that screw down. Okay. So as you can already see, it's a lot bigger because it's 43 inches from corner to corner. That's what makes it so nice and soft and big light. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a shot here first, as we did before, without anything on it. And again, we're going to be shooting at half power. We're going to get another reading here. And we'll see where we're at with this light. Here you go, hold that. Let's get a reading here real quick. All right. We're not F10 because it's a bigger light source, right? So it's taking that same half power flash and it's expanding it. So it's giving us a big burst of light and it's giving us an F10. So let's see what that looks like. All right, let's go back to our other cameras here. And we're going to have a look and see what this is like. So F10. All right. So let's take a shot here. And again, this is with no baffle. This is just a straight light. Now we can see already, it looks to me like the light is a little low because we're not getting a whole lot of light on top of her hair. She's well lit all the way down through her body. So let's pull the light up a little bit. And see where we want to pull it up from. Pull this light up a little bit here. Huh? I turned it which way? Turn it more this way? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's have a look here now and let's see what we get. Again, this is with no baffle. This is just a straight light coming out. All right, let's see what we get now. And there you go. So you have a lot more light coming across the top of her head. Everything's well lit. There's not big harsh shadows behind her, and we're just using the silver part of this, the orb. So now I'm going to show you, we are going to put the baffle on now, or the diffuser panel. We'll show you how that's done. All right. So in this one, it does come separate. If you watched my unboxing video, you'll know that it does come separate here. And I thought, it's going to be take me a long time to put this on, but it didn't take as long as I thought it would. You pull it out. It has the same orb or octagon shape. You can see here where the Velcro is there. It has a very, very little recess that you can use, or you can go right to the edge. Either way, whatever way you want to do this. All right. So we'll get this put on. And if you're timing me, you're going to see that it doesn't take that long. So if you have clients waiting, they're not going to be, waiting too long. If they're older clients, give them a beer Give them a glass of wine maybe or something, and they'll be happy. Mary didn't get any wine yet. Later. So it is not sewed in, but then again, it gives you that ability to shoot without it being on there. So, you know what I mean? So I guess that's all right. Sometimes with them sewed in, they just get in the way. So there we go. There's our big, really nice light source. We'll see it flash. So it's a big, huge light source now, and now we have it softened down. So in the chat room, if you soften the light, we'll see if they are picking up anything today. If you soften the light down, what's going to happen with your f-stop? Are we going to have to go down, or do you think we'll go up on the f-stop with the light meter? Anybody have any ideas? Just letting this go here. And there's a little delay out there when things are coming out to you. And Fabian says, don't break it, Jack. Fabian said an f-stop of 6.0 is his guess. And Flyer here said you're going to have to open it more because we're cutting down the light. So what he's saying is we'll have to go down in the f-stop. So we're at f10 now. So we're going to have to open that f-stop up to allow more light in because we diffused it. And Jessica said the same thing. We're going to open it. So let's take a reading and see if you guys are right. I know everybody likes pop quizzes. You like pop quizzes? Mary doesn't like pop quizzes. With this light also I found, we're going to try this a little bit, is I found that it can almost work like a window light. Where we shoot at in this room, there's no natural window lighting. It's just not enough light coming through these windows. So you can use this, and this could be your portable window because it's so big. All right, with that said, let's take a reading, see where we're at. So right now, if you remember, we were at F10, I think. Yes. And everybody's saying we're going to have to open it up. Hold that right about there. Boom. Okay. And you're right. We opened it up by one stop, 9.0. Again, because it's such a massive light source, we have so much light coming out of there that it's really easy to get that light up there. And it's really easy to shoot. Hey, and guys and girls, if you wanted to shoot, I know a lot of people like to shoot that shallow depth of fields. You can, and these lights are very good for that because you can take your flash, and maybe I'll show you here. We'll turn it down a little bit, and we'll get that f-stop way down, or way closed, or open, or let me think about that. Anyway, way open. We're going to have to open up like a 2.8. We'll drop the power of the flash. When I'm using studio strobes, I find it really hard because they're so bright that it's hard to get it down there. So we'll look at that in just a few minutes to show you how that works and to show you how that the whole overall sharpness, you're going to lose it because we're going to have such a small point of focus. All right, let's take a picture of this. We're going to try this out. All right, so let's get this started here and see what we get. All right, we'll have a look at this one. Okay, and if you can see, I did not go down to F9. We didn't open it up. All right, here we go. That's at F9. That's when you take a light reading and don't look at your camera. That's what happens. And now you can see where the light is definitely falling off very nicely. That big orb is a really nice light source. You can see it's not real far away from her. I mean, it's not real close. It's not too far. It gives you that nice soft light over the whole entire body. What we're going to do now is I'm going to move that light back like we had it before, and we're going to see what it looks like. Remember before we needed the card on the one side of the face to get the reflection. Let's see if the orb will do any better with that. Let's take a look. La-da-dee, la-da-dee, la-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. Remember, the closer you get your light, the more wrapping you're going to have on your light. Okay, turn it this way a little bit. All right. Now we move the light. We are going to take another reading because it's closer to Mary now. So let's see what we get here. Right about there. Let's take a reading here, see what we get. And now we're at F11. We're at F11. And Brian liked that last shot. He said the sweater is not as bright. So it shows you the orb is actually working. I think the orb works nice because it's not straining itself to get that light out there. So now we're going to try to shoot this and see if we get the wrapping of the light. Turn your head just a little bit more that way. That's good. Okay, let's see what we get now. I don't like that at all either. And even Mary said, oh, that wasn't a good shot. It's a terrible shot. All right.
What are you trying to do?
Light both sides of the face. Let's pull this up a little bit. I think we're back too far here. Okay. Again, turn your face more into the light, a little bit more in. Nope. We're going to shoot it right there. See what we get. Yeah, that's a little better there. We kind of like that shot a little bit more. It's still a little bit dark on the one side. So what we're going to do is bring this light more back around so we can feather that light more back around her face is what we're going to do. Because if you go this way, the light's coming this way, so we're going too far away from her. If you go this way, you're going back in. All right. Okay, now turn your face more to the light. Okay. Turn it a little bit more. Turn your eyes my way. Right there. All right. Let's see what we get now. And there we go. Again, I don't like that light as close that way as wrapping as we did the other way. I think the other way was better. I think it looked a lot nicer. It was more presentable. And looking here, Andy says jumper. Picking the detail out of the jumper. I don't know what the jumper is. So for the next demonstration we're going to show you here with this light is, we're going to show you that I can set this so we get the f-stop opened up. Alright, so we're going to have a more shallow depth of field. Now the only way to do that I know, well, there's two ways you can do it. One, very simply, is you can move the light really, really far away, but then you're going to change the whole overall the light pattern, so it's not going to work out for you. Or you can lower the power of the light. I like that option better. Let's bring this light back here. Just turn it around here a little bit. And now we're going to take this light and we're just going to drop the power down. We're going to try that 1/16 power and see what we get. What I would suggest to do with these lights before you get everything all snapped back together is just get a quick reading and see where you're at. Okay. Hold that up there. Let's see where we're at now. Well, now we're at 3.2. So we can actually drop the power down a little bit more, because you can't speed your shutter up anymore because we're at the maximum sync speed. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to try to take that power down a little bit more. What we're trying to do is get our lens down more to 2.8 to show you how that shallow depth of field will work for you, or against you, actually. I guess more so with portraits. All right, so let's get another reading. Hold on. Try that one. And now we're at 2.5, so that should be okay. We should be close enough to 2.8. I think we'll be fine there. If we have to, we can slow the shutter speed down just a little bit to give us a little bit more light. But let's see what that's going to look like. Oh, and jumpers are sweaters. I'm sorry, I forget about overseas. Okay. So we're still at a shutter speed of 200. And we're going to go down to f2.8. And you're going to see now how we're going to lose this sharpness, because you have to remember that the depth of field is going to change. So we're going to lose the sharpness that we have all around. All right, let's try this out. So the focal point was right on her eye. And you're going to notice, if you look at that picture closely, everything else, the sweater and everything else, is now blurred out or more blurry. Because, and people say that, well, that doesn't make sense. Why? I have my camera, I had a good focus, but the sweater is kind of blurry because you changed your depth of field. So you folks out there using that 50 millimeters with the 1.8, what's happening is you're losing the sharpness because you're blurring everything out because you're changing the depth of field. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to try to back up here and get a longer shot. I know Mary likes these shots. Okay. You're going to even see more now. So the overall lighting is still the same, right? The lighting is really looking good because the exposure is set properly. We have good exposure with our camera, but you change the overall sharpness of the picture is what happened. That's why you start getting everything kind of blurry. Now, some people really like that kind of shot, and it looks really nice. I think it really looks good, especially if you have them separated from the background, because you can blur the background out. I think that looks really good. But if I was trying to do a body shot like this, personally, I'd want more everything in focus, because you're going to hang this on the wall and somebody's going to say, that really looks blurry. So let's turn our power back up. And go back to where we were. We were at half power. Let's go back to half power. You know, actually, we're going to go to quarter power and see where we're at. And the reason is we're going to do a little experiment here. And I'm going to show you why you don't want your flashes on full power. Because if you're working with the model and you're out somewhere shooting, what's going to happen is we're going to try to go through a series of shots and see if our flash keeps up with us. We're going to have Mary turn her head one way, turn her head the other way, and we're just going to keep shooting. We're not going to stop. First, let me get another reading. And I know a lot of you, it could be monotonous. You say, man, it takes a lot of readings. But the light changed. We changed how much light. And we want to make sure, so it's 6.3 now because we're on quarter power. So we are going to go 6.3. And that's going to bring everything else more into focus. Check this out. Now let's shoot this one. And I know these are going to be some wall hangers. I know Mary loves these pictures. We're going to have them on the wall. I want you to put your hands on your knee now. Put them one on top of the other. There you go, right there. Perfect. All right. And all right, good. Perfect. All right. And there you go. Now you can see though where everything is in focus. Look all the way down to her blue jeans. You'll see they're in focus. Her hands are in focus. The sweater's in focus. Even though the focal point was her eye, right? You always focus on the person's eye because that's what you want to capture, is the eye. So what we're going to do now is an experiment to see if this is going to keep up. We are going to actually have Mary move her head from one side to the other, you know, like a model, like a whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just move your head from one side to the other. Yeah, you can move your hands around. And I'm just going to take a series of pictures just to see if the flash will keep up. Yeah. Now, if this was a full powered, if you have your flash on full power, I guarantee it will not keep up. But I found on quarter power, they seem to work okay. You're just going to move a couple times, so we're not going to have the same pose here. Every time the flash goes off, just change your pose.
Like look away from you?
You look at me, turn your head a little bit, turn your head back, fold your hands, unfold your hand. We're just going to see if we can just keep flashing as many times as we can. Okay.
That didn't flash.
Okay. Is it flashing?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, it's probably not flashing all the time because maybe what happened was the batteries might not be as good as they could be.
Yeah, that's that one. It's just taking a long time to load.
Yeah, they're coming out of the camera, so they're taking a little bit of time to come out of the camera. All right, so for one more test here. So the trick is with these flashes, don't fire them on full power. And that's what I'm trying to tell you today. Do not fire them on full power. We'll go to 1/16. And now, because Mary said they didn't flash all the time, I think the flash wasn't recharging. I mean, don't count your triggers out, but these triggers are pretty dependable. She's now telling me which ones I'm deleting, which ones I'm keeping. Let's get another quick reading here. All right, see where we're at. 3.2. So we're at 3.2 here. Now, I'm going to move around the room. This is our next test. I'm going to move around the room and shoot to show you that the actual exposure will stay just the same. It's not going to matter where the photographer is. So let's say it was 3.2. 3.2. We're going to start back here with a long shot. You could change lenses too. The lenses wouldn't matter. All right, so we're going to take a shot down like this.
Where do you want me to look?
This way. Always look at me. Don't look at the other camera. All right. I can come in closer, and the exposure is going to be the same. So the exposures are the same because it doesn't matter where the photographer is. It only matters where that light. Oh, that's a bad one. You got to open your eyes up. Let's try that again. Just open your eyes. Okay, we're going to come in a little tighter. All right. So again, it doesn't matter where I'm at in relation to the model. What does matter is, and I can go either way. Let's go to landscape mode. Okay, we go back to portrait. Okay, so as you can see, I think I showed you that you can shoot and move around your studio and get different looks at your model and have them move around. They can move from the light. As long as the distance between the person and the light does not change, the exposure setting will not change. All right. It's one of those, I call that the sassy female look. All right. Let's see now. Jake the Snake says, I think Mary would rather be shopping. Probably not. She actually finished that up yesterday. So that is done. All right, let's see here. Yep. All right. Let's go through some of these questions here. A jumper I learned this morning is a sweater. So that's good to know. That's what they call the sweater in the UK. They actually call it a jumper. Let's see what else here. And Kevin says, look like you can still use a reflector unless you move it back some. So Kevin was saying maybe we could have the light back a little bit more and not use a reflector, or we could have used a reflector still with it. Or you get it closer and turn it more so it wraps. Either way, those are good suggestions, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Put it in the front of the person.
You could put it in the front of the person, but always remember that you want some shadows to define the person. You don't want to directly white light in front of them.
How come people put one there and one here?
Well, yeah, you could have two, and the reason is, and Mary said, how come people put one on one side, one on the other? If you have two lights set up, we didn't do that today. We'll do that another day, because Mary loves to model. See that face? She loves to model so much. She's like, I can't wait for that to happen. When you use two lights, you'll take a reading of your primary light. Say it's the softbox, and the primary reading should be higher. This light should be brighter than that light. Then that way, what happens is the same as the reflector. The reflector is basically putting light on the other side of the face. That's what would happen if you have that additional light. You would have more light. Some people put a hair light so you can light up the hair and separate the hair from the person from the background. We can do all that another day, I'm sure. Let's see. Looks better, Brian said, when her sweater was not so bright. It did look nice. I'll be going back through these pictures because we have a lot of really nice pictures in there today. They turned out really nice. Kevin said it would actually be better to have the light on the opposite side of her since her hair part's on the other side. And that's okay, but if you can see the size of this room, for me to put a light over there, we'd have to take that wall out. That's the reason we can't shoot, and that is a drawback to this space. There's not enough room to shoot because you can't move your lights around. But I do appreciate that. That's a good tip.
Why do you say that?
Because the way your hair is part on this side, so it'd be better to bring the light in this way
What
to
is
the
it gonna
part.
do to the picture?
It's just the way your hair's part because your face is more open on this side and it's more covered on this side. See what I'm saying? So the light would come in better. So that's a great tip, Kevin. I appreciate that. Let's see. Jody told me that jumpers are sweaters. That's good to know. It's something I learned today. You should learn something every day. Dina said Mary is really a good sport. See that? That's Dina. I'm not sure where Dina's from, but she's been a long time watcher of the show. Kevin agrees with Jake. You would rather be shopping. Oh, Andy said, wait, Jack spent some money on buying the new orbs, so now it's your turn to go spend some money. That was nice. See, Andy, she likes you people more and more now because you're like giving it all for Mary. And Kevin wanted to see a head and shoulders shot. We can do that. A head and shoulder shot, just your head and shoulder. We have some of those in these last round of pictures here. It's more of a close-up shot. If you're going to do more, Fabian says, if you're going to do that, Jack, make sure you turn down your flash power for a faster recycle time. That's what I said. The lower you get that flash power, the faster it's going to recycle. If you shoot on high power, forget it. That light's got to recharge. You're going to kill your batteries. And Brian said, let Mary shoot and let Jack sit. She doesn't want to shoot. She could.
No, because I just like everything automatic.
She wants everything automatic. So she wants to turn the camera on auto and take a picture. That's what she wants to do. Jack, do your flashes keep the unused charge when shooting at low power, or does it dump the charge? Andy, I think studio flashes, I know what you're talking about. Studio flashes can maintain and hold power. You have to dump it. Most of them, I guess. in the speed lights, they automatically know to dump that power, so they're not going to use that power anyway.
I move the chair there. Won't that fit over here? That light?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway,
Sorry.
we're going to try a couple more shots here, so don't run off just yet. If you're still out there watching, keep watching. Mary had an idea. We're going to try it here. And this is also, we're going to see how Kevin's idea works. These are great questions. I really appreciate today how much questions we're getting. Jake the Snake said, Mary's a much better model than his old mug. Oh, you mean me shooting myself? And I know Jessica always says about the gnome.
Where's the gnome?
Yeah, the gnome is sitting over there, and he's a good model. So, the last one was really good. Kevin liked the last shot. I guess it was that one. It does look nice. I think it's a good shot. I don't know if Mary likes her facial expressions or not.
No, I like it. I just look heavy.
Brian said, just wanted to see how he takes directions. Oh, that's why you wanted me to sit down to see if I would be able to take directions as well. And Jessica said that I have a few wall hangers, so I appreciate that from everybody. I really do. We like getting the feedback on these shows. And, you know, the chat room, I think, makes these live shows. And if you've seen how much I had to go through to put this one on this morning, pulled off to get it on air, I do appreciate everything you're throwing out there for us. So, I know time's a little restrained, but we did start a little bit late. But what Mary says, we're going to move that chair over, and we're going to put the light on the other side of the part. Like Kevin said, we're going to see what happens with that setup, see if we can pull this off. So yeah, if you want to move the chair over that way.
I just don't know how far.
Yeah, you want to go too far, right about there.
I don't know how much of that's going to fit.
We're going to pull this over
Move that first.
this way. We're going to see what we get here.
This way or tilted in more?
You want it tilted in a little bit to the light.
That way?
Yep. All right. And now I think the last setting was quarter power, right? I think. Okay. Let's get a light meter reading here. Now, Kevin, we got the light set up where you wanted it. It's on the opposite side of the part. That's a great idea, and we're going to see what happens here.
What are you trying to do to it, though?
What? Well, the light's going to come in now. The light's going to come in because this side of your face is open, so it's going to allow the light to travel. But with the hair over here, it stopped the light, and it couldn't get to this side of your face. So you're still going to sit that way. Right, you're going to turn your head in a little bit this way. But don't look at the, don't look at the flash, look at me. So your face will be this way, right here. Right, but your eyes will be this way. Yeah, there you go. We're going to try that, see if that works. Hold this right there. All right. It's 3.6, so I know my power is not high enough. So let's crank his power up some on this light. Nope, it's not. Let's go back to half power. And we're going to do this. Okay. Mary likes all these toys I buy. The only thing she doesn't like about them is when we took them to a wedding and we set up lights. She said, don't ever bring the lights again to a wedding. And Fabian can tell you the same thing because he made that same mistake his first time out. Okay. He made the same mistake his first time out because it's just too much to tear down. Go to F11 and we're going to give it a shot here and see what we get. Okay, again, so you're going to turn your face more into the light and turn your eyes this way. Pull that hair right there back away from your eye. There you go, right there. All right.
But you're getting the side of my face.
No, the way I'm going to frame it, I'm getting more of your face. You'll see. But it's letting the light travel around your face is what you want. See how the light's coming back around? All right, try looking more at me then. Bring your face back around this way. All right. Kevin said a head and shoulder shot. Let's try that. So we get there. The what?
It's too dark on this side.
Kevin said he really likes it. Yeah, it's a little dark on that one side yet. So we're going to bring this light out some.
Make sure they don't have Photoshop.
Mary said make sure everybody has Photoshop when you're shooting pictures. I think everybody on here probably has Photoshop. Is that right? Probably. All right. We moved that. And Andy said a reflector's called for. Let's try to shoot this like this.
Do what?
I moved the light out, so try your same pose. Try it again. See what we get now with that light moved out a little bit.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like that shadow.
Where? Right here.
My face.
Let's pull that a little bit more then. Pull that hair back a little bit away from your face. That's where the shadows come from. Right there. Okay. See what we get now. You don't like it at all?
No.
Well, Mary doesn't like that one. Let me see. Let's see here. All right. See, Kevin liked that one. We're going to try now is we'll try to get Mary to hold that reflector back up again. And we'll see what that'll give us. See if we can pull this off without getting a stand out here because.
What?
Get it away from your right there.
Yep.
Well, it's got to be turned in. There you go. Right there. All right, we're going to try this, guys. You can see how we have this set up. See what we got now with the reflector.
That's better.
And there you go. There's a lot more light coming in now. We could even hold that reflector.
Like a ghost, but
Hold that reflector there. We're going to actually stop this down a little bit. So we're going to take some light out of this. Let's try one stop of light.
what am I doing?
Same pose. Hold the reflector the same way. So we just took one stop of light out of it just by going up an f-stop to f13. You can see now that's not too bad. But you can also, what's that? Here, try one more. Hold your reflector up. And I do have a stand for the reflector. You wouldn't have a client holding your reflector.
Here, hold your reflector.
Hold the reflector. Mary said it'd be cute if you asked your client to hold your reflector.
Can you hold this?
Can you hold my reflector, please?
Are you writing a check? That's a little better.
And there you go. So, what else you're going to notice about the orb, folks, if you haven't noticed it already, is the catch light in the eyes. And we can go back later another time. We're going to look through those pictures and I'll show you that. The catch light with the orb is round. It's supposed to be more pleasing than the other way, the square ones. But I think to each is his own, you know. Now we have it in front of Mary. Can't really see.
Okay.
Move that out of the way. Now I think what we're going to do here before I take off with this session is we're going to shoot that one where Mary said, what about the light in the front? We're just going to put it in front here and just take a shot and see what happens. Let's see. You guys seem to be liking those ones. Jessica, have a good day. You are heading to church. I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas.
She said Merry Christmas to you. We'll see you next time. I'm glad you enjoyed the show today. Just going over these last few things here. Flyer here said, Well, let me go back. Jody says she can't wait to play with her orbs. I know she bought 2 of these, so she actually got 2 of these boxes, which is pretty cool. Flyer here goes, so as probably the only amateur here, and I come in late, I don't want to be stupid, but is the purpose of the orb to avoid using a reflector? No, the purpose of the orb is to give you a bigger light source and a big soft light source to put onto your person. You're still going to use reflectors, I think, with it, or you're going to have 2 light sources. So there is a choice or a chance you can use those. Now, when you use this thing outside, we don't use reflectors because you have the sunlight that you're working with. So, and we'll do that one day when it gets warmer. It's too cold out there right now to bother with it. Let me see here. So yeah, it's the flyer here. Don't think you're an amateur. I mean, we all start somewhere, and I still learn every day. The last one is great. Kevin said he really likes that one. I think that is one of the best. I like it also. It looks good. Andy said it might be a bit flat though. He said try the light back to the side again, but with the reflector. Okay, so he wants it back here again, right where it's sitting, but with the reflector. So we'll shoot that, Andy, and we'll see what you get. Since you asked, that. Since Andy asked, we're going to see what we get here. F13. And we'll take a look here. F13.
Putting this up.
Why do they keep going? Yep. Hold the reflector up. We'll take his shot here just to see what's going to happen. Because he said the light looked a little bit flat. You squinted that time? Hold it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. So,
Brighter.
yeah, right. That's what he's saying. See how it says the brighter light's on this side and it falls off. It's not a flat light. You're not just drowning the nose out.
Yeah,
You're giving definition to that. Because what we're going to do here, bring us back around here. And what you can do actually is you can actually create a very flat light. Hold that. See where I'm at. Okay.
I better get extra pay for that.
Extra pay. 8.0.
Now, where are you going?
Right here. Right beside the light. We'll see what we got now. All right.
Oh, too much.
And there you see. Well, that's exactly right. So it's real flat. There's no definition. You're just bright.
Yeah, but can't you make that light go lower?
Oh, yeah, I can make it. Let's see. Mary wants to see if we can take a little bit of light out of this. Let's take some light out of it and shoot it again. There you go. See what we get. And all I did, I went, closed the f-stop down a little bit.
See?
And there you go. So that's more frontal light with the orb. That's how it looks. Again, a lot of times you'll see this when you go out to the, I know we have a local place called the Picture People here. That's how they shoot their stuff. They have a big soft box over top of the person or the baby or the child.
You can do two.
And
One on each side.
let's see here. Oh, you can't see those last shots. I'm sorry. We turned this off here. Hold on. All right. Let me see here if I can go back here. All right. So this is the shot from the side with the reflector right there. All right. Now we move the light forward right in front of Mary, and we came up with this, which looks very bright and very flat. So we wanted to turn that down a little bit. So what we did, we took the f-stop from f8 to f10, and we finally came up with this. Check out the catch lights in the eyes right beside the pupil. You can see those. Those are actually round more than square. So that's how those are. Okay. All right. So I did forget to move those first ones. In June, so long to you and Dina. I see people are bugging out there and making their way to their last minute holiday shopping. All right. So I guess that's it. I guess we're wrapped up here. Mary's happy. She can finally leave this hot box of her room with her sweater on. A little warm there. With her jumper, she said. This is her holiday jumper. So, Kevin's saying the front ones was really nice, and Brian said he liked the first one on the side, and he agrees with Bryant. Jake, have a Merry Christmas also, and we'll see you. We are wrapping up the show anyway, so I appreciate you sticking around with us here. Jody says thank you to Mary and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
And she said Merry Christmas to you. So, folks, once again, a light is a light. A modifier is a modifier. You know, I was told recently, buy one and shoot the crap out of it to learn it. Learn every which way you can modify that light, where you can place the boxes, or the umbrella, or whatever you're using at the time. Maybe you just have a reflector. So, you know, and I told you many times I overbuy, but I do that on purpose for these shows. That's why I buy stuff, basically, is just to have for the show. So I'll use it somewhere down the road, I'm sure. So once again, we have to say here, to be politically correct in the world, we'll say a happy holidays to everybody. For everybody else out there, I'm going to say Merry Christmas, because that's who we are. We are a family that enjoys Christmas very much, and I'm sure our kids will also on Christmas morning. So thanks for joining us here on this Sunday morning for another Photography Weekly. This is episode number 73. I would like to thank our sponsors real quick, since we didn't have an ad this week. I'd like to thank Smug Mug. If you have a chance, go to our website, sign up for Smug Mug today, use Jack's Tech Corner and get 20% off. That's a really good deal. You're going to save a bunch of money. Also, Amazon for being a sponsor. If you buy anything from Amazon, go to my website, click on the link, and make your purchases there. And it helps to buy little stuff like this to bring to you on the shows. It really helps out in the end. The photo professional, the portrait professional, Portrait Professional is a sponsor, as well as Photomatics. And our friend Ken at Green Screen Wizard. So there's our sponsors for the day. Again, have a very Merry Christmas. I think I won't see you now until after the first year. Is that right? No.
Next Sunday is December 30th.
Next Sunday is December 30th, so we'll see you before the new year. So again, folks, thanks for watching. Take very good care of yourself. Have a safe and a very happy holiday season and a Merry Christmas. And myself and Mary, we'll see you back here next time. Bye for now.